Hi, I'm Lucy. I'm Market Access Manager for Source LDPath.
Hi, I'm Sanj. I'm the Digital Integrations Director for Source LDPath, and today we will be talking to you about all things digital with our end-of-year review.
So Sanj, can you talk to us a little bit about how the landscape has been for us at Source LDPath this year?
Hey, so I think probably worth a little history lesson to get the context behind things. The first slides that we scanned were in 2011. We used to send glass slides over to UCL. They had the only scanner that we knew of in the country. It was an old Aperio scanner. And we just thought, rather than sending slides out by post for second opinions, we'll just get them sent to UCL. They'll generate a slide link for us. And then any complex cases, we're able to send the link around. This was back in the good old days before GDPR and all of those other types of laws were in place. And in total, we've now scanned and reported around 1.5 million slides. But then just looking at this year, back in 2011, we were reporting 3,000 cases a year. 2015, when we purchased our first scanners, we were doing about 10,000 cases a year. This year, we've done 300,000 cases. And that's a combination of wets, pre-prepared, block work, and it's amassed around 800,000 digital slides that have been reported by us just this year. So over half of what we've done in total, we've done this year. We've got 6 digital slide scanners, 3 at each site. We've even placed 1 digital slide scanner directly into a hospital premises. We've amassed over a petabyte of data so far. We've got all of that stored nicely in the cloud as well, that we're able to archive and retrieve at any given point. And we're scanning, I think, right now about 30 to 35 terabytes per month. So we've really ramped up. 70 to 80% of all of our cases now reported digitally, and we're even receiving scans directly from clients to us.
Wow, okay. Yeah. So what about the wider digital pathology landscape? So it's pretty commonplace now for histology departments to have acquired a scanner. What have we seen this year across the NHS, across different pathology networks and regions? What does that landscape look like?
It's a real exciting time now. So pre-COVID, we had individual hospitals purchasing scanners, typically leaving them in the boxes because it was never really a priority to go digital. We had problems with backlogs pre-COVID, but then post-COVID, it's accelerated things. So COVID has kind of acted as an accelerator, a catalyst for histology departments to be more willing to go digital now. We also, the whole country basically worked from home during COVID when they were able to. So why are pathologists not able to do the same if you're able to take these physical slides and put them into the cloud? So we've got over 100 of our pathologists that are whole slide image validated, and that's becoming a much easier process now because the majority of pathologists are already being validated in their departments.
Yeah.
Which means for us, the whole validation procedure and protocol becomes much simpler. Networks have sprung together to purchase scanners and IMS systems and other systems so that the whole network is on the same system. And for interoperability and integration, that makes life a lot easier. And I think with AI coming in the next 3 to 5 years, you're going to see a complete different landscape to what we see right now. So we've already had the catalyst, we've already had the jump, and now it's really just accelerating towards the future and managing these patient backlogs.
So Source LDPath are quite literally market leading in digital pathology throughout the UK, particularly within the NHS. Can you talk us through a few milestones that we've achieved in the last sort of 12 to 18 months? So it's been about 3 years now since the East Kent William Harvey Hospital integration with Source LDPath. So can you talk to us a little bit about the impact there?
Yeah, so East Kent, I'm happy to speak about because we've got their permission. With East Kent, we placed a scanner directly into the hospital, and we also integrated their LIMS, which was Apex, directly with our LIMS, HIVE LIMS Plus. And what that means is any patient data, procedure date, patient name, clinical details, specimen details, macroscopic details are sent directly through to us through HL7. I think it was the first of its kind integration at the time. With blood science, it's relatively easy to do an integration. There's a blood count. Is it this? Is it that? Yes, no. It's open and closed questions. With histology, you can have a case that has 1 specimen, 5 specimens, 10 specimens, 20 blocks, 15 stains. It changes each time. Is there a supplementary report? Is there a second opinion? So we did the first of its kind integration to get all of the patient data across into our network, meaning that we no longer need to manually copy and paste or type the data in. Similarly, once our reports are finalised, we will send the microscopy and SNOMEDs directly back into eScan's Apex system. So historically, if we report a case on a Monday, it might not be back in Apex until Wednesday or Thursday. Because there's such an admin backlog, there's such a huge volume of cases being outsourced, it takes a while for the admin staff at eScan to transcribe the information back into their LIMS. Now it's instant. And then to take that one step further, eScan, a hospital that has never scanned before, we place a scanner in the hospital, trained their BMSs and their MLAs and their admin staff on how to use the scanner, and they've scanned to us now 25,500 cases over the last 2.5, 3 years. Over 100,000 slides, all reported within, I think 90% of them have been reported within 24 to 72 hours from receipt. And what that has done for East Kent is the overall impact from procedure date to report date has significantly reduced. I think when we were first receiving cases, they were probably 30, 40 days old by the time they even got to us. And now we're getting new cases that are fresh out of the lab from 2 or 3 days ago, meaning that the entire turnaround time from that procedure to the report is under the 10-day target.
And we have replicated that in various different sites across the UK over the last 2 years, right?
We've got integrations, limbs to limbs integrations. We've got a national limbs integration that we'll be announcing soon. We've got scanning to scanning integrations, and we've done the full package again. So once I get permission from those trusts, I will speak about them on the next session.
And they are across various different limb systems, scanners themselves.
Different limb systems, different scanners. We've received images from Fujifilm, we've received images from Hamamatsu, we've received images from 3D Histech, we've got an integration going on to receive images from Philips. Leica and Roche, no clients yet have sent them our way, but we are speaking with Roche directly, and we should hopefully get some images in from clients using Leica and Roche in the next year. So that will cover pretty much all the scanning companies. Yeah, it's an exciting time. We're able to take on any image format. And with all these digital advancements, I think it's probably worth you giving us a quick introduction to the HEM.
Yes, so the HEM stands for Health Economic Model, and Source LDPath have developed this using the large support from a third-party market access provider. Essentially, it is, I believe, the first of its kind histology budget impact tool, free for NHS trusts across the UK to use. And essentially, the purpose behind the model was to really enable trust to demonstrate that value of turning to a digitized workflow. So the case for digital pathology has already been made quite clearly, but actually evidencing what that means for their individual departments is something that I think was lacking in the landscape, and especially when the histology departments themselves are trying to make their case to their own internal finance teams, etc. A physical model that can demonstrate what that looks like for your particular setup was critical. So yes, we have a health economic model tool for NHS trusts to use. It was built using the data from East Kent. Obviously, earlier we mentioned that it was the first of its kind, HL7 integration there. And effectively, how we utilise it in the field is we can go to an NHS trust and we just need a couple of stats and figures from them about their current setup. So how many in-house pathologists do they have reporting for them? What does their initial backlog look like? How many cases per day are they currently looking to process? And we basically pop that into the model and it spits out a customizable layout really of what that could mean for them in terms of financials, but also patient life saved.
And for any of our clients that would like to get involved, that would like to have their data plugged into the model, just send Lucy an email and we'll get you signed up.
Sounds good. A major hindrance to large-scale acceleration of digital pathology across the UK is the current IT infrastructure. So I know you and your team have been working behind the scenes to build a purpose-built sort of LIMS. Can you talk us a little bit about that?
Yeah, HIVE LIMS Plus. Special thank you to Ference, Fred, Chang for not sleeping over the last 2 years to get it launched. We've built a LIMS. It's been designed specifically for histopathology by histopathologists, by BMSs, by MLAs, by admins, just generally taking any issues that we've had in the past and automating them. The problem with a conventional LIMS is that it is not built specifically for histology. It is built for blood sciences, microbiology, virology, histology, and several other disciplines. We don't do anything else. So we needed to build something just for ourselves and something that our pathologists would be able to really rapidly plow through cases, because it's not messing around with multiple clicks or scrolling or anything. It takes you directly to what you need to see. And that is the digital slide link, if you're reporting digitally, which you are in 80% of our cases, and the microscopy box and a authorized box. And that should be it. Everything else is just there visually for you. So the request form is there available picture in picture. You don't need to download the form. You don't need to go looking for the form. It's just there ready for you. You can look at the request form and you can start issuing your report. You've got tons of features in there. So each pathologist is able to bring in their own context or personalized reports. And for the top 20 that they most commonly use, they can assign a little button to it. So if you're always reporting the same type of cancer and you've got your same context for it, you can just click one button now and authorize a case. And now you've authorized that case in seconds, as opposed to minutes, which it would take conventionally to get to that same process.
Yeah.
We've got things like data set management. So for some reason, the Royal College of Pathologists, our governing body for histology in this country, have designed minimum cancer data sets for reporting specific types of cancers. So for example, in a skin cancer, what's the Breslow thickness? Is the cancer ulcerated? Is there perineural invasion? What's the excision margins, etc.? And what's happened is each one of our hospitals that sends us work has decided to take these cancer data sets and adapt them locally.
Right.
So I'll change the order here, I'll add an extra feature in here, an extra field in there. And it was always impossible for our pathologists to remember, for hospital X, we have to do it this way, for hospital Y, we have to do it this way. And so what we've built is a data set manager that does all of that for you. So if the hospital is hospital X and the SNOMED T is skin, the P is excision, and the M is melanoma, it gives you the melanoma excision data set specifically for that one hospital. And then to take things further, we've built the ability to ingest SNOMED codes from each one of our hospitals. Same problem again. You've got different versions of SNOMED, from versions 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 3.5 international, and now CT. And everything apart from CT, all the other lists, what the clients have decided to do is, you know what, I like version 3.5, but I'm going to take these few codes from version 2, and now we have a complete custom list. So none of these lists match up and down the country. So we take the client's SNOMED lists in. So now when we issue a report, not only is it in your data set as if it was reported in-house, it's with your own codes as if it was reported in-house. And then you take that one step further with the integrations that HIVE LIMS Plus offers. The reports will then fly directly back into your system, back into your own LIMS. And it doesn't feel as if the work's been outsourced. Mm-hmm. We're like a micro-satellite division of 280 pathologists that is connected directly into your system, reporting things back into your LIMS system in the same format, with the same codes as if reported in-house. And you can even pre-select what pathologists you want to report your cases. You can build reporting teams. We can take your stain lists, what stains you've got available in-house. We can ingest that into our system so that we're not always requesting a stain that we know that you don't have. It is a fully customizable, specifically built histopathology LIMS that is the key for everything that we do, and it's what allows us to have these very fast turnaround times. So at present, we've onboarded half of our clients. We've onboarded the LDPath clients, and the Source Bioscience clients will be onboarded at the beginning of next year.
Fantastic. And I know that this is going to be a question that we get a lot in the coming future, but how does that fit into the rest of the patient pathway? How does this LIMS sort of slot into existing infrastructure? Is it something that's more of an overlay, or is it a standalone product?
So for us, it's a standalone product because it's our product for how we report the cases.
Yeah.
But we've got integrations with a couple of national LIMS providers already. We're starting a third one right now.
Mm-hmm.
We've got an integration with an IMS provider. We're starting another one right now. And that's the overlay model. You've got, if you're integrated directly back into the NHS systems, slides no longer need to leave the hospitals to come to us. And that's always been a problem with outsourcing. If the slides are away from the hospital, if we report a cancer today, you can't do anything with that case until at least tomorrow when we send the slides back to you.
Mm-hmm.
And if we hadn't reported them digitally, as in we've received them, we scanned them ourselves, we've got them on site, if we, in the 20% of cases where we sent the slides out, we have to wait for those slides to come back to us to then send back to you. Might miss an MDM this week, we'll have to get pushed onto next week, patient's treatment gets delayed by a week or so. So it's the interoperability just really changes the way in which pathology can work. We're no longer an outsourced company, we're just part of you now. If you have got some sickness, some maternity leave, paternity leave, absence, illness, training courses, or anything else in your department, and you're going to be a bit light in terms of pathologists this week, just send more through to us. Send it through digitally, send it through HL7, and it's as if the work's just been given to a pathologist on site, and we'll get the reports directly back into your LIMS.
Perfect. And are there any additional benefits outside of the sort of standard technology advancement side of things?
Yeah, the environment. We've gone very green. We've reduced the number of couriers by going through these integrated models. And so if we're getting the slides digitally, no more use of couriers, no need to print off paper request forms. They can be sent electronically to us. And we've gone green, so always good.
Always a good thing.
Yeah. So, Lucy, you've been very directly involved with the NHS Working Group for Digital Pathology.
Yes, so you'll be sort of acutely aware, Sanj, you've sort of been involved in this one, but essentially, I think around 10 months ago now, just at the beginning of this year, we were really looking at how we can widen our support within the NHS, not just from a local and regional level, but from a national governance level. We formed a really exciting working group, which is chaired by Deborah Paget, who is the past president of IBMS and now the North East and North Cumbria Pathology Network operational lead, I think. I think she'll agree that that is her correct title.
If not, we'll just get the correct one, just whizzing across.
And effectively what we did was we approached 8 to 10 sort of senior NHS stakeholders heavily involved on the ground in operations with their histopathology departments. And we formed a sort of well-rounded group of various different expertise. So we had operational and clinical NHS senior members of staff. We also had representatives from the HIVE and IBMS, and then we had a partial industry representative seat, which came from ourselves. And we hosted around 3 really in-depth talks actually with this group to sort of iron out what the current challenges were, take a look at sort of a unique glance at the landscape through people who are actively operating in this space on the ground every single day within the NHS. And the ultimate outcome of this was to formulate a formal document in the form of a white paper, which is actually going to be released December 2024, so in a couple of weeks' time. And the purpose of this white paper was to set out a key set of recommendations to take to national decision makers within the NHS and also the new government. And it's really used as a supporting document to help them guide their decision making and their implementation strategies moving forward for digital pathology.
Excellent, can't wait.
Great. So taking a look at 2025 then, could you talk us through what we can kind of expect from a Source LDPath perspective, but also what can we envision the landscape looking like? So I know that there's been a huge culture shift in the last 12 months in terms of everybody really now harnessing this idea that digital pathology is just pathology and that we should treat them as one and the same. So yeah, what does 2025 look like and beyond?
We've got 330 hospitals that are sending to us, including our independent clinics, our GP surgeries, our private hospitals, and our NHS trusts. We have reported we will report over 300,000 cases this year. Annually going forward, we're going to easily break 1 million slides every year. And now it's the time to really onboard the rest of our clients onto HIVE LIMS Plus and work on integrations for the rest of our clients to take them to this new business model that we've developed over the last few years. Really just taking outsourcing out of the equation. We just want to be an extra part of your department now, an extra 280 pathologists at your disposal to help you scale and a more robust and sustainable approach to manage the volumes that are going on in each NHS department right now, post-COVID.
So thank you, Sanj, for joining today. It's been a pleasure. And thank you all for joining us through this journey. It's a really, really exciting time, and we're looking forward to give you more updates in the coming future.
Thank you.